Hey everyone, so please excuse the fact that this is kind of dim lighting or something. I'm basically standing in my living room and I don't really want to film my office because pretty much all my recording stuff is in a bag somewhere because we're getting ready to move here this week. We are actually moving some of the stuff in on Friday, and then Saturday we're moving like the bigger furniture pieces like my dresser and the bookshelves and the books and stuff like that. So, but I wanted to come on today because I did finally finish my OWLs TBR with Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I wanted to give you guys an update on that because I know that with the vlogs that I was doing, I was giving you guys updates as I went, and because we've been getting ready to move, it's been hard for me to vlog, and so I wanted to tell you guys that I actually did finish my OWLs TBR today. I just literally within the last 5 minutes finished Siege and Storm, and I've got some thoughts. So first of all, this one is replacing my choice of Wicked Saints for my Defense Against the Dark Arts course because I thought that Wicked Saints was going to count for a book that was excuse me, going to be at the sea or on the coast, and it wasn't. There wasn't any point in that book where that happened. The very beginning of this book, and for a good portion of the beginning of the book, like probably within the first 10% of the book, this is put on at sea, or there is travel across sea within the first 10% of the book. It's actually a pretty good chunk of it. But I have some thoughts on this one. So I read Shadow and Bone about now almost 2 years ago, and I really did like it a lot. I had some issues, I think, in terms of the characterization of Alina. I felt like there was something about the way that basically her training had gone with becoming a sun summoner that didn't really seem believable to me, because there was this whole thing about how her feelings for her best friend Mal were kind of clouding her ability to use her magic, and I felt like that was kind of icky just because I don't like the idea of a love interest being the reason that you are not able to do something or not able to be at your full potential. I feel like that is just kind of icky and a little bit problematic in some sense, but I ended up giving that one a 4 out of 5 stars, I think, when I first had read it, but I did enjoy it. And I did enjoy Siege and Storm, don't get me wrong. I think that this one, though, had more issues in terms of really the plot of the story. I feel like that the majority of the middle of the story was a lot of nothing, because it's not until the last, 50 pages or so of the book that we actually get a really big scene that kind of moves forward the plot and really changes the way that the story is going to go. The first probably 150 pages of the book is pretty good in terms of developing the plot, because there is a whole aspect of Alina finding the second piece of what they're called amplifiers, but that basically help to amplify her magic. She and Mal end up finding it with the Darkling, because the whole story is she and Mal had to run off after the first book and were recaptured by the Darkling very early on, within the very first chapter, and the Darkling wants to use Alina and Mal to go find the second amplifier, and when they find it, she's able to use it, and then the whole middle of the book is her basically trying to stay away from the Darkling, and she goes back to Ravka with the help of a character that we come to know now as Nikolai. He's not that, though, at first, and we find that out partway through the story, and this is kind of where that character, Nikolai, comes in, and I actually really like him. I think that he's a very interesting character, and I would be interested now in reading maybe King of Scars after I finish the trilogy, and then possibly reading the Six of Crows duology. But the plot of the story, after they get to Ravka and basically are trying to find a way to bring down the Darkling, there's a whole lot of nothing. There's a whole lot of nothing going on, and I feel like that kind of bogged down the story a lot, because I would have wanted there to be so much more action, and a lot of it was centered around Alina's inability to disassociate from her obsession with finding supposedly the last amplifier that there might not be, she doesn't know, and her relationship with Mal suffers. She starts to grow closer to Nikolai, and she's also having these weird visions and dreams of the Darkling that she doesn't know if they're real or not. There's really not a lot that happens, but what there is good. I just wish that there would have been actually more impactful scenes in those, because they're kind of just little instances over the course of what feels like for freaking ever before anything actually starts to really happen within the last 50 pages. There's a lot of good things that came up throughout parts of it, but I felt like there was just a lot of nothing. Like, there wasn't really a lot of action going on to where I felt like the story was super interesting for most of the middle of it. And I think that that was why I had such a hard time with getting through this, because although the writing itself makes it so easy to fly through this book so easily, like, when I first started reading it, I was reading almost 100 pages within my day of work when I would sit and take breaks, as opposed to like reading 50 normally. It got to a point where, especially like the end of last week going into this week, I could only read maybe 10 pages before I just decided that I was done reading for the day. Like, I really couldn't force myself really to sit and read any of it until today. And today I read the last 135 pages of the book. And I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't nearly as good as I had expected it to be. And I am interested in what's going to happen, obviously, in Rune and Rising. Like, I cannot not read the last book in this trilogy, because there is definitely some stuff that's gone on that I think is going to be very interesting to see. I don't really know what's going to happen, so I want to know what's going to happen and read Rune and Rising. But Siege and Storm, I see why a lot of people dislike this one in terms of the story element of it throughout the entire trilogy. Like, I get it. I understand. It's not really a lot. There's not a lot that really goes on. And what does happen is awesome, but we want so much more of that in this. And then I also just felt like Alina was kind of she was too complainy a lot of the time. I feel like that with this whole love square thing that's going on, I truly understand why each of these characters are considered love interests that she's involved with, but Alina, I think, spends way too much time, like, fighting against her feelings for all these different guys for different reasons. Like, her whole thing with Nikolai is hilarious, and I find it so endearing, but she complains so much about him when he's not that bad of a guy. And if she's really that focused on Mal as her love interest, why is she complaining so much about Nikolai? Like, it's weird. Like, there is a particular reason, I think, in terms of what Nikolai has planned for Alina when they first get to Ravka, but I feel like she just focuses so much on why she hates Nikolai and why she should hate Nikolai and why she shouldn't like him, that she starts to like him anyway, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why. I'm just a Mal person at heart. I adore Mal. I think that he is absolutely great, and I think that Alina really does him dirty sometimes in this book, and I understand why he's upset and frustrated, and I don't know. Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts on this one. So I think overall I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars, because I did like it enough to where I really do want to read the rest of it, but I had some major issues with overall the plot of the story, and then sometimes like the characters, and I don't know, it didn't live up to the expectations I thought it would, considering what I thought of Shadow and Bone. I do hope and I think that Rune and Rising is going to be better, because I do believe that a lot of people who've read this series have said that Rune and Rising is better in terms of it between Siege and Storm and Shadow and Bone, that it is actually better like Shadow and Bone was as opposed to how Siege and Storm is. So I don't know when I'm going to get to that one though, because I've got plenty of other series that I want to finish, but yeah, I am really glad that I finally did actually continue with this series, and it actually wasn't too hard to get introduced to this world, which I was surprised by since it's been almost 2 years since I read it, so I'm pretty excited. But that book does conclude, like I said, my OWLs TBR, so yay, my OWLs are done. And the only other book I plan on reading within the last couple days of the month here, pretty much before I move, is my Morganville read. So that book, which is Daylighters, I think. It's either Daylighters or it's Fall of Night. I don't remember which one it is. It's book 14 out of 15 in the series. So the review for that will come out in a couple weeks once I've got everything set up at my new house. And there's going to be a lot of videos coming out here very soon. I have a very, very special return of videos that is going to be coming back out here in the next couple weeks. Comment down below what you think that might be. It's a very particular series that I started off with from the very beginning of my channel, and well, not very beginning, but partway through my life on my channel, when I first really started to get into creating variety content. I did this particular series of videos that I loved and adored, and I stopped when I first moved into this apartment a year ago because I was uncomfortable with doing it while in this apartment, because I thought there were going to be a lot of people hearing me, with it being during the school year and stuff like that. So let me know down below what you think that series might be, and you guys will get to see what that is here in the next couple weeks. So wish me luck with moving. Like I said, we're officially getting most of our stuff moved in this weekend, and then next week is mostly just little stuff, the rest of our like kitchen supplies and our bathroom stuff, and it's gonna be an adventure, that's for sure. So I love you guys so much. I hope that you guys' owls have gone super, super well. I'm really impressed with myself that I actually did finally complete mine. I'm so happy. And I just hope you guys have a great day, afternoon, night, wherever you are. If you would like to hear more about my moving process, let me know. I might make a small video with moving stuff in. I don't know. We'll see what I feel like when it comes to it. But thank you guys so much for can't talk. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.